Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to a very special episode of the show because we are taking a look at something that I think is going to be very, very cool once we open it up and get it together and take a look at it. What we are looking at today is produced by Fans Hobby. They are a third-party company, an independent company that has manufactured a couple of vehicles for 1/12 scale figures, mainly military-themed vehicles. This, despite what the box says, this is not the Air Eagle. Now, the Air Eagle is the base model of what this is. What we are actually taking a look at today is the Air Tiger, which you will, if you haven't figured out what the difference is already, you'll know it in a moment when we pop it open. One of the things that I think is really cool about this packaging is that this is the Air Eagle box. This is the Air Eagle packaging. You can see that it has the Air Eagle image underneath this folder. It has the Air Eagle logo, the Air Eagle title across the top, and even on the sides, we have a look at it right there, Air Eagle. On this side, it just says 1/12 scale series. I like how it has like these latches, giving it like this armored crate look. Same thing over here. We have hinges, which are just like printed on there. They're not real. But then at the top, we have Air Eagle. And on the back, we have the promotional shots of the Air Eagle, which is just the standard base green version of this. We can see the wings tilting, the VTOL engines. We can see the lights. We can see the flight stem, basically the hanger that you can plug into it. What makes this different is, and if we set this back up, Project VE01A. This is VE01, the Air Eagle. This is Project VE01A, top secret, approved by Fans Hobby. And then you flip this open and you can see the pictures of the Air Tiger right here. I think this is really clever. I think this is a really great way for a smaller independent company to not, I don't want to say waste money, but not have to allocate money, allocate budget for packaging, especially for something that is limited edition. There are only 500 pieces made of the Air Tiger right here. And full disclosure, shortly after I got mine in the mail, it was sold out. All 500 pieces have been sold. This was, I believe this was a Joefest exclusive. And currently, time of recording, the Air Tiger is sold out. The Air Eagle, however, is still up for sale on the Fans Hobby website. I will leave a link to that in the description below if you take a look at this and decide you might want to get the Eagle for yourself. I really dig this. I think this is a really clever way of getting around, because the packaging is very solid. This is a very heavy cardboard right here. This is the type of box that you might even want to keep. I don't think we would be able to repackage it once assembly is made, but I could see people wanting to keep this box and just using it for storage for something else just because of how sturdy and solid it is. And then this is just really clever. Photos, you can see a paperclip right here, like candid photos of the Air Tiger, like it was in development, like a little mini schematics right here. I think that's very cool. I think Fans Hobby came up with a really great way of getting around the packaging for the Air Tiger. But you're not here to talk about the packaging. You're here to see what's inside this box. So let's get this open and let's take a look at the Fans Hobby 1/12 scale Air Tiger. Okay, so we're going to try and pull this open on camera because the packaging inside seems to be really solid as well. That we have this nice piece of foam covering up our tray that has all of the parts. We have our instructions along with some decals right here. And then let's get this set up. We remove this and there's all of our pieces packaged in there. Very nice and tight. And check this out. They give you the screwdriver that you need. They give you the little toolkit. Now this does have lights. I don't think it comes with batteries, and hopefully I'll have, the package didn't say what type of batteries it uses, so I'm hoping that it's going to have double A's, because that's really all I have in stock right now. That's really all I have in the house right now. They did a really good job on the packaging on this. You can see once I got the cockpit piece out of its bag, there's even this like contact paper right here protecting the canopy. Okay, so there is more than just some assembly required right here. There is a lot of assembly required, and we also have our step-by-step instructions right here. There's no language on it, but it does just highlight, where's number one? Like, it does highlight in purple what pieces we're dealing with here. So I think that's pretty cool that it gives you a very detailed instructions on how to assemble your Air Tiger / Air Eagle right here. As a matter of fact, you can even see that it uses the Air Eagle. The pieces are all green right here. So once again, just saving money on production, like saving money, not having to bother getting all new instruction manual on how to use this. Now, unfortunately, the batteries it uses are 3 AG13 batteries, of which I have none right now. At least I don't think I do. I'll take a look around, but we may not be able to see the lighting features in full effect on this right now. But speaking of the lighting features, you saw on step 1 that is one of the first things we have to do, that we take our canopy, our base body right here. Oh, by the way, if you look at it, etched onto the side right here, VE01A, mine is 215 of 400. So I was wrong. I think I said that there was limited to 500. It was only limited to 400 pieces. Mine is 215 of 400, so just over the halfway mark. But in here, we have this little wiring harness that we pull out, and then we plug that into the tail right here, because the tail is where the batteries and the off-on switch are at. And we just plug, oh, it's so small. It is so small. Am I doing this right? Looks like it goes together. There's contacts. I think it goes together this way. Oh, it's so small. I hate how small this is. Maybe not flip it around. I feel like I'm going to break it. You know what? This is really delicate. I don't want to do this through camera. Give me a second to pop this together. I want to get a better look at these pieces. Okay, so putting this together off camera, one of the things that I didn't notice until I got a good look at it is that you have a yellow wire and a red wire on both of these. And basically, if you just match up the yellow to yellow and the white to white, this tiny little wiring harness should plug in together fairly well. And then you just delicately make sure the wiring harness slips inside so as to make sure that we're not catching it on any of these pieces. Okay, so I got this in. I feel like I didn't trap any of the wires. One of the things that I wasn't doing was I thought this had to come up flush to this little space right here. It doesn't. It actually fits in underneath these tabs. And when you push it together, it locks in there. Like, it's in there solid. It's definitely not coming apart. But when it does click into place, you don't get a very loud click like you do with some pieces. Like, there was a little when it slipped into place, but it is in there very solid. And the next step is the minigun that goes underneath the chin. You can see we have 2 little prongs right here, and these do pivot side to side for a bit of a better range of fire. And these just snap in to place, like so. Next we have these, and I tried to see if there was a difference. There's no like L and R for left and right. Both of these to me seem to look exactly the same. As a matter of fact, on the instructions, it doesn't call out anything different between the 2 of them. So I don't think it matters which side goes into what. They both just clip right into place. Man, look at how big this thing is. This is really much bigger than what I was expecting. I love it, actually, though. Next up, we have our twin turbines, and these are actually sculpted very well. Let's take a look at these before we attach them. First of all, the front turbine spins. Let me get the screwdriver that comes with it. The front turbine spins very easily, just like a real engine turbine would. I think that's really cool. I like that feature. I like that a lot. Then when we flip it around on back, you can sort of see, or no, you can see like the conical the conical spiral of the turbine engine itself, which I think is a really nice touch. Now these fit onto the side pieces on the tail right here. One goes there. Flip it around. Once again, I was looking at these. There doesn't seem to be any standard left or right, but also you'll notice that like this one, the bolt holes are down and we plugged it in. On this one, it looks like the bolt holes are going to be up if we plug it in, but honestly, you can just spin that around and then pop it right into place. And there you go. Our Air Tigers twin turbines are ready to go. Next up, we have the wing piece that is going to go in right here. Now that is these two pieces right here that looks like, where did it go? Okay, so there's a lot going on with the wing pieces right here. Once again, it doesn't look like there is a left or right to this. It looks like they're both pretty much the same. There is no designation left or right. But what we do is we take this little piece right here. We plug these on. These don't even really plug on. They just sort of fit into there. They don't snap in. They don't pop in. They don't do anything like that. But hold on. We have to get this piece here, so that when we put these on, this might be a little tricky, especially going through camera, but it looks like we take these and then fit this in. There we go. Like so. That just pressures together. You didn't hear a click in there. I think it's just pressure holding it in. And then this fits in to the top. And these... Come on. Come on. Okay, there we go. That pushes down in there. And then the wings will turn as well. You hear those really nice ratchets right there. What's next? The tailpiece, which this just goes right up top. You have little hinge marks. Okay, I think those are supposed to go front because I think these are supposed to be the flaps in back. Okay, so this goes on top right here, like so. Oh, this is really starting to take shape. This is really starting to look awesome. And then we have our side wings. Once again, the little metal tabs go forward on them, and they plug into the side. No left or right. Finagle that in there. Gently finagle that one in there. Everything is held in with friction, and it's real nice and tight. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, so we have our wings, and let's just pivot them up like so you can see what we're doing, because we also have ordnance for this guy. That we have 4 of these smaller missiles right here that they just clip right into place. There's no dog bone on them. They just clip right into place and are held in by pressure. Two. Three. And 4. So there are your 4, what I'm assuming are air-to-air missiles right there. Oh my, this looks so cool. This looks so cool. And then we have 2 more pieces of ordnance. I'm going to say these are air-to-surface anti-tank missiles, maybe? But they fit onto the skids right underneath here. Once again, whoops, being held in by pressure, not actually having dog bones right there. And there we go. Are they held in there? Yeah, they're just held in nice and tight. They don't seem to really move much once you get them in. But there you go. 2 missiles on the skids, 4 rockets on the wings. So up top here, you might have noticed this big open space, and we do have another piece that goes in right here. This, which I don't know if these are supposed to be lights, if these are supposed to be sensors, if they're supposed to be mini missiles. We do have a strip that can pull off that has some 3M tape to get it to stick right to the body. Right now, though, I'm not going to pop that off. I'm not going to take that off because I don't want to like gum it up, because I really feel like that could just cause more of a mess. But also, I found out that if you just take this, let's do this. Set it down and then push it right in, it fits directly into place, and it doesn't fall back out. Like once it gets in there, it's in there pretty well, and you have these 2 tabs right here to keep it from pushing in too far. So maybe at some point I'll take that 3M tape off and make sure that it sticks there, but for right now I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Look how good that looks. That is pretty much it. That is our Air Tiger fully assembled, minus the batteries, unfortunately. Now, something that it does have, which I think is a very, very cool addition, is that you have this piece right here, which you may be wondering what this is good for. But also you have this, whoops, let's get the wings up out of the way. You have this piece right here. And the idea is that with this, you can string a string through there, basically, and then you tie it off to this. And so that, like, when the string is, like, really long, you can suspend it from the air like that. You can just hang it. So it gives you a hanger ability. And this is actually designed to, let me see if I can show you in the instructions right here. You see how it ties on, and then it ties onto that, and then you run it through another string so that, like, you can basically get a runner going through it. I think it would have been cool if there would have been a solid piece that comes up from this, a solid hanger, but hey, for everything else that we got with this, I am not going to complain about that. Now let's take a look at some of the features that we have here. That the canopy does open, and I like that we have handles on the side of the canopy so that you can pop it open without having to touch the plastic and getting fingerprints all over a nice smoked glass right here. But listen to this. The canopy has some really solid detents as well. And if you take a look in here, you can see this is all plastic, but it looks like a padded seat. You have these like little molded in boxes right here that are kind of like supply containers, like maybe survival kit, first aid kit, things like that. We have a really nice instrument panel right here, and we have 2 control sticks that the one right here moves side to side, and this one comes forward and back. So you can actually, let's spin it around so we can get a better look at it. So this one moves side to side, and this one moves forward and back, so that when you have your figure in here, you can have him holding the controls however you want him to, and that's really cool. And then the pedals are also spring-loaded, which I think are going to help to hold your figure in once you get one in here. One other last feature I want to show you before we do anything like measurements or take a look at this thing with a figure in it is that you saw we have our chin gun right here, this little Gatling gun, this 3-barrel minigun right here. Something else that they give you, and as far as I can tell, this is only for the Air Tiger and not the Air Eagle, that you can pop the, let's flip this over. You can take the minigun out, and then you have these 2 barrels right here that will just fit in. So that you can have, oh, and there's cuts in them. I don't know if you can see that. You see right there how there's little cuts right there in the ends of the barrel? Once you get them in there and you spin them around, you can find how they fit in there so that they're held in there with some pressure. And so now instead of a minigun, you have dual chin cannons that pivot from side to side. Isn't that nice? Isn't that original? Doesn't that remind you of absolutely nothing else that this could actually be? That looks really cool. That looks really cool. So we're going to get some figures. We're going to set this up. We're going to take a look at it to scale with some, I don't know, some G.I. Joes that we'll pull at random. And yeah, and I'm going to look to see if I can find some batteries so that we can light this thing up. Okay, and here we have the Air Tiger with a couple of figures. I don't have the Tiger Force Roadblock yet, but I wanted to put him next to it just so that you could see the size of this thing. Like I kept saying, this is much bigger than I was expecting, but you don't really get an idea of how big this actually is until you get a Joe in there. Like, here's Duke, and you can see that there's plenty of headroom, there's plenty of leg room. His head's not even completely back against the back of the seat. I really like this. I don't have the sticks in his hands completely because, honestly, I was kind of worried that I might snap that. It's not that I think this is poorly made, it's just that I have a real bad habit, a real bad history with thin pieces like this. So I just sort of slid his hands around the controls. I didn't pop them into the controls. Also, having this now, it makes me either want to get the standard Air Eagle for hard deck or somehow make a Tiger Force version of hard deck. Right now, the only Tiger Force figures I don't have is the Roadblock and Tripwire 2-pack and the Tiger Paw with, what was his name? I can't even remember what his name was. Wrecker or something like that. Now, getting the figures out of the way and just putting it next to the Tiger Force Ram right here, you can see they pretty much color matched it very well. The mouth design is a little different. The eye design and the eye colors are a little different. But for the most part, this is Tiger Force. It does a really good job of capturing that aesthetic, capturing that look. Okay, now with the figures out of the way and the canopy down, let's check something out that I did have the batteries, and let's see how this looks in the dark. Okay, so I don't know how well this is playing on camera, but I hope it's coming out. I hope it's coming out for you. That you can see we have the two front lights right here. We have the red light on the port side. On the starboard side, we have the green indicator light. And in the back here, let me swing this around. We have the blinking tail light as well as the down light on the tail as well. And also, hopefully you can see this. Well, let's lift the canopy. Like the Rattler and the Sky, or not the Sky Striker, but like the Rattler and the Dragonfly, we have a light up console with a decent amount, I don't know if I can get in close enough, but with a decent amount of detail on the console here. So this is really cool. I'm actually really impressed with the lighting setup with this. Okay, so you've seen it together. You've seen it with a figure in the cockpit. As a matter of fact, Duke is still in there. I don't know if you can see him. You've seen other figures next to it. You've seen the Ram next to it. And you've seen it with the lights on. There's one more configuration I want to show you before we finish this video up. Okay, so I took the tailpiece out of the way here so you can see what I'm doing, but the first thing I did was take that apart. And you have to be careful because this does lock in a little bit, so you kind of have to push in and lift and be very careful when you're doing that. And then these come off, and take these wing panels off right here. Let's set these aside. So like I showed you, a screwdriver came with the set, but there was really no need for the screwdriver to put this thing together standard as is. But what this screwdriver is good for is taking the engine clamps apart here. So you take the yellow mounting off, and then you have the piece here as is. Okay, so then you can mount the engines on the back like so, and then you bring this top piece back in to clip it and lock it back in. And then once the thrusters are on, and you can see they still turn into their VTOL status, you bring the side panels in, and they clamp right into there, put the tail back on, and there you go. You have a more recognizable configuration. And both versions will do this. The Air Tiger obviously can do this, and the Air Eagle is going to be able to do this as well. Oh, and I almost forgot. We pull this off. Let's put our twin cannons back in. And there you go. Now, something that's worth noting, nowhere on the instructions right here does it actually show you how to do this second configuration for the Air Eagle or the Air Tiger. You just kind of gotta know. So just be careful when you're doing it. The only thing that's really delicate, and it's not even really delicate, you just have to watch what you're doing so you don't break the tabs, is when you pop this top piece off to get the side wings and put the engines in place. Something else that I think was really cool, and I didn't notice this until recently, is that you have a QR code down here, and you can see that that says sticker application guide. That the sticker application guide for decking this thing out is all online, which I think is a really clever way, another clever way of saving costs on packaging and instructions and things like that. Just little things like that that help reduce the overhead so that you can get something like this for less than $100. It has size, it has some great ratcheting joints right here that you can hear, some really deep detents that help to hold everything in place. It's well constructed. The lighting rig is fantastic. I really like the way that the missiles and the rockets are held on with this pressure right here rather than dog bones. And I mean, it's less than $100. This one I think was in the neighborhood of 90. The Air Eagle, the standard green version, I think is between $80 and $90. I mean, come on, this is a fantastic piece, I feel, to add to your G.I. Joe collection. And obviously, like, I've been cheeky and like dancing around it. Obviously, this is the Skyhawk. And I think they were originally calling it something closer to the Skyhawk than the Air Eagle, or maybe it was always the Air Eagle. But the reason it has these wings and the engines are back here, and configuring this into its normal Skyhawk mode is actually not part of the instructions. You just kind of got to know, because I think, and I might be wrong about this, but I think when they were first developing these and they were putting pictures up on Instagram, I think they were issued cease and desist letters from Hasbro. So that's why they had to reconfigure the whole thing. And to be completely honest, I kind of like the new design better than the original. The original is iconic. The original looks good. Don't get me wrong. But even when I was a kid, I was like, how does this thing fly? I like this having additional, not additional, but I like this having wings. I like this having additional like air-to-air missiles with the air-to-ground rockets down here. The Gatling gun is on here as well, but I really like being able to swap out to the more iconic, the more standard, like dual cannons. I don't think the Air Eagle has that ability. I think just the Air Tiger comes with the swappable weapons. Like I said, the Air Tiger is currently sold out, and the Air Eagle is still in stock, so I will leave a link to all of that in the show notes below. One thing that I would love to see Fans Hobby come out with for this, and for the price on this, I don't expect them to pack it in with this, but you can see down here we have like this open slot and we have these two tabs. A flight stand, an optional flight stand to buy, would be fantastic to go along with this. So Fans Hobby, you know, if you're watching, which you're probably not, but if you're watching, give that some thought. A flight stand would be real nice. Something else I would have liked to have seen, and this is just a personal thing, this isn't like really a critique of the vehicle, but I would have liked to have seen that instead of just having the string hanger right here, having like a solid plastic rod that came up to hold it in place. I feel like if we do that with the string, that even when it's sliding down, it's going to be twisting and turning as it's sliding. But like I said, for what you're getting here, for everything that you're getting here, for less than $100, you cannot go wrong with this. I really don't think you're going to be disappointed if you invest in something like this, especially when you consider, like, for $100 from Hasbro, we're getting like the Vamp and the Awe Striker. And that's nothing against the Vamp and the Awe Striker, and I get with those two you get a figure with it as well. But the construction on this is so solid. The paint schemes on this is so solid. I haven't put the decals on yet, like I said, because I I don't have a real steady hand. I'm not good at putting them on. Eventually, I'll probably give it a shot. But for right now, I'm just going to admire it in its glorious Tiger Force form. And while we do admire this in its Tiger Force glory, Fans Hobby, if you're watching, a variant of this for my beloved Night Force, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. There's other conventions coming out to make convention exclusives for, you know? Thank you for hanging around until the end. While you're here, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. The subscriber count has been climbing quickly lately, and it would be really cool if we could hit 2,000 by the end of the year. If you'd like to support the show, please consider joining the Steel Corps by becoming a channel member or a subscriber through my Ko-fi page. Links in the description below. Members get perks like access to a members-only Discord, access to members-only monthly videos, and eventually members-only live streams. All of this for $1 a month. As always, play well, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.